All right, let's talk about the Chicago Bears. And let's be real, things are getting complicated in the secondary. I woke up today with this feeling, a sort of gut check moment, and I genuinely think the Bears have to make a move at quarterback. Yeah, I know it might sound drastic to some, but stick with me here, because when you take a closer look at the current state of this roster, especially on the defensive side, it's clear that help is needed. Like yesterday. Now, obviously the quarterback situation is always a hot topic, and we can come back to that, but what's glaring right now is what happened, or didn't happen, against Tyler Huntley. That performance, man, it was rough. Huntley looked like a pro bowler, slicing through Chicago's defense like he was auditioning for a highlight reel. But when you dive deeper, it's not surprising at all. The Bears were fielding a secondary that was basically patched together with duct tape and prayers. The injuries have piled up to a ridiculous level. Let's talk about that injury report. Jalen Johnson, completely up in the air. Best case scenario, maybe he's back in December, but nobody's holding their breath. Kyler Gordon, still out for at least 3 more games, and that's being optimistic. Tariq Stevenson, he's banged up too. Already missed 1 game and might miss more. Then there's Terrell Smith, done for the year. Zay Frazier, the rookie you were hoping could at least give you decent backup reps, out for the season due to a personal issue. So yeah, that's 5 cornerbacks. 5 guys who were all expected to be part of this roster gone. That's not just a rough patch. That's a full-blown disaster in the defensive backfield. So what happens when you're that thin in the secondary? You send out a group like we saw against Baltimore. Nan Wright, who's scrappy and fights hard, but let's face it, he's a career backup for a reason. Jalen Jones, who hadn't even seen the field in a real game scenario this season before being thrown into the fire. And Nick McLeod, who's trying his best, but simply isn't an NFL-caliber starter. And what does that lead to? Tyler Huntley going 17 for 22, carving up the field with ease, throwing to receivers who looked like they had VIP passes to get wide open. Todd Monken cooked up a clean, efficient game plan, and the Bears couldn't do a single thing to stop it. So here's the reality check. Where are the Bears trying to be this season? Is this still about development and the long game, or are you actually trying to make a playoff push? Because at 4 wins and 3 losses, you're still in the mix. But not if you keep trotting out practice squad players in a secondary that's about to face one of the most dangerous receiving duos in the league with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And look, I get it. Injuries are part of the game. But when it's this bad, you have to respond. You can't keep telling your locker room to fight for every inch while the front office sits on its hands. So yeah, I think the Bears have no choice but to add a cornerback, and fast. Ideally before Sunday. Because the Bengals are coming, and they're not going to take it easy on a depleted defense. Now, who could actually make sense for Chicago right now? One name that jumps off the page is Alani Taylor. This is a player who checks a lot of boxes. First off, he's in the final year of his rookie deal. That means he's a rental, but it also means he's affordable and motivated. Second, he's got position versatility. He's played both outside and inside corner, so wherever the Bears need him, he can step in. Plus, he's got familiarity with the system. He spent 3 seasons under Dennis Allen in New Orleans, which means he already knows a lot of the concepts that would be asked of him in Chicago. If the Bears traded for him today, he could probably suit up and start on Sunday, whether as the second outside corner opposite Nan Wright, or in the nickel if Tariq is good to go. And even if everyone was healthy, which they're clearly not, Taylor would still be a clear upgrade over some of the current options. Another potential target is Tariq Woolen. Now, this one's a bit more of a question mark. Reports surfaced over a month ago that Seattle might be open to moving him. It's unclear where they stand now, but ESPN noted that he might not be viewed as a long-term scheme fit under Mike Macdonald. That says a lot. He's still young, he has size, athleticism, and we've seen flashes, plenty of interceptions early in his career. But he's also inconsistent and not exactly a fan of contact, which you'd have to live with. Still, he's way more talented than some of the guys Chicago had on the field last weekend. And just like Taylor, if the Bears traded for him today, you'd expect him to be starting within the week. And I get it. Some fans might be thinking, why trade for rentals? Normally, I'd agree. You want players who are going to be part of your long-term vision. But in this case, when you've got injuries up and down the depth chart, when you're still in the playoff hunt, And when you can probably get a guy like Taylor or Woolen for a day 3 draft pick, it's worth it. And hey, worst case scenario, they leave in free agency and maybe you get a comp pick back. It's a low-risk move that could save your season. Roger McCreary is another name to consider. He's more of a nickel specialist, and yes, that limits him a bit, but with Kyler Gordon out, you need a guy like that. Coming out of Auburn, McCreary had those short arms that made him a natural fit inside, but he's a physical tackler, and he's been solid this season. Tennessee's made it clear that pretty much everyone except Jeffrey Simmons and Kevin Byard is available. So McCreary could be had. Again, he's not a savior, but he's a real NFL player, and right now, that's more than you can say about some guys in this Bears secondary. Rasul Douglas is another guy worth mentioning. More of a pure outside corner, but he's played some slot too. He's been solid for the Dolphins, surprisingly good, actually, and he's on a super affordable deal. Miami might not be sellers just yet, especially coming off a win and with a short week ahead, but if there's a chance to grab him, you make the call. He doesn't take the ball away like he used to, but in coverage, he's still sticky and reliable. And again, position flexibility matters here. You need guys who can move around and hold up wherever they're needed. Then there's Cam Taylor-Britt, another intriguing option. The big issue here is timing. The Bears play the Bengals this week. Cincinnati's not about to trade away a corner to the team they're about to face. But after the game, if the Bears come out on top and the Bengals fall to 3 wins and 6 losses, then yeah, it's possible. Taylor-Britt has been up and down this season, even getting benched recently, but he's still got upside. Maybe not someone who helps you Sunday, but definitely a name to monitor going into the second half of the season. At this point, it's about making smart, aggressive moves. The Bears don't need a superstar. They need someone better than what they've got. And with how thin they are in the secondary, that bar isn't very high. You can't afford to keep throwing backup-level talent out there when your season is still alive and kicking. Especially not when Joe Burrow, Ja'Marr Chase, and T. Higgins are next up on the schedule. If Chicago wants to compete and not just go through the motions, then this front office better act like it. The time to move is now. So let's keep this going, because while the need is clear, the options out there go deeper than just the top names. If the Bears really want to fix this secondary fast, they need to be creative, maybe even a little bold, because sitting on your hands while guys like Ja'Marr Chase are running routes is a great way to let your season slip away. There are still other names floating around that could be plug-and-play solutions, or at least better than the current rotation of backups and emergency call-ups. And the truth is, with the number of injuries and the unpredictable nature of NFL rosters week to week, you probably need to add more than one body anyway. Let's take a closer look at someone like Michael Carter from the Jets. He's more of a nickel specialist, which might sound limited, but again, context matters. Kyler Gordon is still out, and even when he returns, there's no guarantee he'll be at full strength. Carter isn't going to shut down elite slot receivers, but he's got experience, he's solid in short areas, and he can at least keep the game in front of him, which is something that's been a huge problem for Chicago lately. He's not flashy, he's not expensive, and that's the kind of move that could quietly hold things together while your key starters recover. Then there's the wild card option, Deonte Banks. Now let's be honest, Banks has not been good. In fact, he's been one of the worst-rated corners this season, and it's no surprise the Giants are trying to move him. On paper, this doesn't seem like a move worth making. But sometimes, teams take a swing on a young guy hoping a change of scenery and a better fit in a new system can unlock something. It's unlikely, but the Bears are desperate. If they can get him for almost nothing, maybe he's worth a look just to see if there's anything to salvage. Now, when we talk about free agents, things get a little more complicated because you're dealing with guys who've been sitting for a reason. But even so, there are names that at least deserve a conversation. Take Stephon Gilmore, for example. No one knows what kind of shape he's in, whether he's been working out, staying ready, or even interested in signing mid-season. But if you're the Bears, why wouldn't you bring him in for a look? This guy was elite not long ago. He's smart, physical, and knows how to play the game. Even at this stage in his career, he might still be able to give you a few quality snaps each week. When you're forced to start career backups, a savvy veteran like Gilmore could be a massive upgrade, even if he's only at 70% of his former self. Asani Samuel Jr. is another name to keep in mind. His situation is a bit different because he's recovering from a serious neck injury. The last update was that he was supposed to have a medical check around mid-October, but since then, everything's gone quiet. That could mean a lot of things. Maybe the check didn't go well. Maybe he's just not ready. Or maybe teams are waiting to see if he becomes fully cleared before jumping in. The Bears should be making those calls. If there's a chance he's good to go, it's absolutely worth exploring. He's young, talented, and brings a spark that this defense desperately needs right now. Now, someone like James Bradberry is out there too. And let's be honest, he looks cooked. His play has dropped off dramatically, and the tape doesn't lie. But again, when your depth chart is full of guys who were never supposed to be starting in the first place, even a declining veteran might offer more stability. He wouldn't be a long-term solution, and he probably wouldn't even play every down. But on third and long situations, or in certain packages, a player with Bradberry's experience could help limit big mistakes, which is something this defense keeps piling up. All of this comes down to one question. How serious are the Bears about winning now? Because the front office can keep talking about building for the future, but that message starts to lose credibility when you're above .500 and still letting winnable games slip away due to personnel issues that are obvious to everyone watching. The injuries aren't an excuse anymore. They're a reality. And in the NFL, when the reality is that bad, you don't wait around. You act. If you're serious about making a run, you've got to shore up the secondary. The irony here is that the Bears' defense isn't that far off. The front seven has been playing with fire. The pass rush is starting to come alive, and the linebacker unit looks fast and physical. But none of that matters when the secondary is constantly playing from behind, giving up cushion, missing assignments, or just flat out getting beat on routine routes. It's not that the Bears are miles away from being competitive. They're just a couple of pieces short. And the secondary is the biggest hole right now by far. So maybe it's a trade. Maybe it's a low-risk signing. Maybe it's both. But something has to happen this week, especially with Cincinnati looming. The Bengals are built to attack secondaries, and Joe Burrow is ruthless when he smells blood in the water. If you roll out the same group that faced Baltimore, it could get ugly fast. Ja'Marr Chase doesn't need a whole lot of help to get open, and T. Higgins is a matchup nightmare. This isn't the week to take chances with fringe corners and undrafted rookies. This is the week to make a statement to your team, your fan base, and the rest of the league that the Bears are not just hanging around this year. They're actually trying to fight for something. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Chaos struck the Bears camp yesterday when head coach Ben Johnson seemingly lost his composure during a live broadcast, sending shockwaves through the NFL rumor mill. In an uncharacteristically candid moment, Johnson appeared to vent his frustrations openly, hinting at what could be one of the most explosive player departures in recent Bears history. Sources close to the team say that Johnson's outburst wasn't entirely spontaneous. Tensions have been simmering behind the scenes, and yesterday, it all came to a head. The incident unfolded during a routine press interaction when Johnson, visibly agitated, began expressing dissatisfaction with the team's roster. While the specifics were left deliberately vague, his words suggested that a particular player's future in Chicago may be in serious jeopardy. Insiders suggest that this could involve one of the Bears' more high-profile athletes, though names have not yet surfaced publicly. The timing of the outburst, mid-season and during a live feed, has fueled speculation that this is more than just a moment of frustration. It could be a prelude to major shakeups in the locker room. Fans and analysts alike are now dissecting every clip, every word, trying to determine who might be on the chopping block. The sports world thrives on these swirling rumors, and this particular incident is shaping up to dominate social media chatter for weeks. Former teammates reportedly described the coach's behavior as unpredictable, yet reflective of the immense pressure that comes with leading a storied franchise like the Bears. Team insiders hint that negotiations behind the scenes could already be underway, with potential trades or releases being quietly discussed, though nothing is confirmed. The Bears have a long history of dramatic locker room moments, but few have been as public or as electrifying as Johnson's live meltdown. While no official statements have been made regarding any player's departure, one thing is clear. The Bears' locker room is in turmoil, and the NFL community is watching closely. Could this be the start of a seismic roster shift, or just the cathartic venting of a coach under pressure? Either way, the rumor mill is spinning at full speed, and fans will be waiting with bated breath for the next twist in this unfolding saga. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.